Shalom Yasharal. I pray all is well. I back to give you plenty. Hopefully it's not all you can handle. If it is too much for you and you're wondering how someone like me can be so into it, just know that someone like me is wondering how you can't. And you're on the other side of the battlefield from those who cannot get enough. You see how that clearly identifies the two different types of men here on this earth. We know that the remnant is just that. There's few. But you can spot one when you see him. And what would be the explanation for someone with zeal on one trilly? Because I want you to think something. Think about that for a minute. Why would that be? Now, I'm blank right now, just trying to come up with an explanation, a reason. Like, does a Green Bay Packer fan shout and cheer on the Packers like a nut just for someone to think he likes the Packers? And in all actuality, he really don't. He likes the Cowboys. That could never happen, right? He would go to a Packer game surrounded by Packer fans, cheese-headed, beer-drinking, broad-eating, just maniac Packer fans. And he's gonna pretend to be a Cowboy fan amongst all his fellow Packer fans, just so those guys will think, there's no sense in that, is there? It's not hard to identify a son or a daughter of the Most High, because they let you know it from the minute you see them. If they are in shouting range till the walking away. And if they're not, you can clearly see that too. What's really clear about the seed of the serpent is those who want you to shut up. They never want to hear a scripture. Never. I can't get on here and talk about, how tall the barn was I climbed up today, or what I bought at Gander Mountain, or, I do. I mean, I'm not I'm pretty sure my subs can see that I'm rounded, and I joke and I sing and I laugh and I cry, but the one constant is that Abba Yahuwah gets all esteem, all honor, all praise, all glory, all the time. And I'm sure you can tell by the way I say it, I love when I get to say it. It's the best part. And I was thinking that some people probably see this as pride. Well, if you would get to know me and interact with me and see how I behave when we're talking about anything other than Abba, I'm sure you'll see the meekness that my daddy has taught me. But Abba understands that it's fun for our flesh to be prideful here on earth. So he gave us one exception. If we're going to be boasting, all full of chest poked out zeal, we get to do it if we boast in him. So, yeah, I take advantage of that. And try to find something wrong about that where scripture tells us not to. And if you have a problem with that, that clearly tells all of us who you are. Man, let me read this Joel. I was reading this Joel right here when I got done with the 3 chapters. I thought, where could I go next to follow up? He leads me. I went to Micah. Check this out. The word of Yahuwah that came to Yoel, son of Pethuel. Hear this, you elders, and give ear, all you inhabitants of the land. The land. Has this ever been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Relate it to your children, and your children to their children, and their children to the generation after them. What the gnawing locust left, the swarming locust has eaten, and what the swarming locust left, the crawling locust has eaten, and what the crawling locust left, the consuming locust has eaten. Wake up, you drunkards, and weep and wail, all you drinkers of wine, on account of the new wine, for it has been cut off from your mouth. For a nation has come up against my land, strong and innumerable. Its teeth are like teeth of a lion, and it has the fangs of a lioness. It has laid waste my vine and splintered my fig tree. It has made it entirely bare, and it cast it away. Its branches became white. Wail like a maiden girded with sackcloth for her husband, for the husband of her youth. The grain offering and the drink offering have been cut off from the house of Yahuwah. The priest, servants of Yahuwah, have mourned. The field is ravaged. The ground has mourned, for the grain is ruined. The new wine has dried up. The oil fails. The farmers are ashamed. The vine dressers wail over the wheat and over the barley, for the harvest of the field is destroyed. The vine has dried up, and the fig tree droops. Pomegranate, also palm, and apple tree, all the trees of the field are dried up, because joy has dried up among the sons of men. Gird yourself and lament, you priest. Wail, you attendants of the slaughter place. Come, lie all night in sackcloth, you attendants of my mighty one, the Most High. For the grain offering and the drink offering are withheld from the houses of your mighty one. Set apart a fast, call an assembly, gather the elders, all the inhabitants of the land, into the house of Yahuwah, your mighty one, and cry out to Yahuwah. Alas, for the day of Yahuwah is near, and it comes as destruction from the Almighty. Is not the food cut off before our eyes? Joy and gladness from the house of our mighty one? The seed has rotted under their clods, storehouses are laid waste, granaries are broken down, for the grain has withered. How the beasts moan, the herds of cattle are restless because they have no pasture. The flocks of sheep also perish. I cry to you, Yahuwah, for fire has consumed the pastures of the wilderness, and a flame has set on fire all the trees of the field. Even the beasts of the field cry out to you, for the water streams are dried up, and fire has consumed the pastures of wilderness. Blow a shofar in Sion, and sound an alarm in my set-apart mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble, for the day of Yahuwah is coming, for it's near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like the morning clouds spread over the mountains. A people many and strong, like the like of whom has never been, nor shall there ever be again after them, to the years of many generations. Ahead of them a fire has consumed, and behind them a flame burns. Before them the land is like the Garden of Eden, and behind them a desert waste. And from them there is no escape. You ain't getting away. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and they run like steeds. As the noise of chariots, they leap over mountaintops, as the noise of a flaming fire consuming stubble, as a mighty people set in battle array. Before them peoples are in anguish, all faces become flushed. They run like mighty men, they climb the wall like men of battle. Everyone goes on his way, and they do not break ranks. Studs they are, and they do not press one another. Everyone goes in his path. They fall among the weapons, but they do not stop. They rush on the city, they run on the wall. They climb into the houses, they enter at the windows like a thief. The earth shall tremble before them, the heavens shall shake. Sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars withdraw their brightness. And Yahuwah shall give forth his voice before his army. For his camp is very great, for mighty is the doer of his word. For the day of Yahuwah is great and very awesome. And who does bear it? Who? Yet even now, declares Yahuwah, turn to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and tear your heart and not your garments. He's talking to the people with their backs to him. He's telling them, mourn, fast, weep, tear your heart and not your garments, and turn back. He's not talking to those who are clinging on to his every word. White on rice. Those guys that are going to climb those walls. For he shows favor and is compassionate, patient, and of great loving commitment. And he shall relent concerning the evil. I can vouch for all that. Who knows? See, I love how Abba makes sure he puts his humor in there, along with letting you know you will get your ass stomped. Who knows? He might turn and relent and leave a blessing behind him, a grain offering and a drink offering for Yahuwah, your mighty one, the Most High. Blow a shofar in Sion. Set apart a fast. Call an assembly. Gather the people. Set the assembly apart. Assemble the elders. Gather the children and nursing babes. Let a bridegroom come out from his room and a bride from her dressing room. Let the priest, servants of Yahuwah, weep between the porch and the slaughter place, and let them say, Spare your people, O Yahuwah, and do not give your inheritance to reproach for the nations to rule over them. Why should they say among the peoples, Where is their God, their mighty one? And let Yahuwah be jealous for his land and spare his people. And let Yahuwah answer and say to his people, See, I am sending you the grain and the new wine and the oil, and you shall be satisfied by them. And no longer do I make you a reproach among the nations. And the northerner, I shall remove him far from you, and drive him away into a dry and deserted land, with his face toward the eastern sea, and his ass toward the western sea. If you'd like, I can show you where that is on Google Earth. And his stench shall come up, and his smell rise, for he has done greatly. Do not fear, O soil. Be glad and rejoice, for Yahuwah has done greatly. Do not fear, you beast of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness shall spring forth, and the tree shall bear its fruit. The fig tree and the vine shall yield their strength. And you children of Sion, be glad and rejoice in Yahuwah, your mighty one, for he shall give you the teacher of righteousness. We know who that is, don't we? He's that guy that everyone of a certain religion swears up and down, preaches from mountaintops with zeal that he is anti-righteousness. He ain't a teacher. He's a teacher of crawl in the fetal position and suck your thumb till it all goes away, till you float on up out of here like a little fairy. Make your men metrosexual, borderline homosexual, and your women to rule over you, and your children over them and you. That's the order they profess. Children, women, the dog, maybe a hamster, and maybe you. Maybe you'll get to sleep out in the garage if you're good. For he shall give you the teacher of righteousness, the one who doesn't come to bring peace, and cause the rain to come down for you, the former rain and the latter rain, as before. And the threshing floor shall be filled with grain, and the vats shall overflow with new wine and oil. Then I shall repay you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the crawling locust, and the consuming locust, and the gnawing locust, my great army which I sent among you. Then you shall eat and be satisfied, and shall praise the name of Yahuwah. All y'all, I say all y'all because there's a lot of y'all that just got such a problem with me saying the name or talking about saying the name. And you can tell you have such a problem because you just won't bring yourself to do it. You can't. It's like if you were to say Yahuwah, it would be like the plague to you, and you just won't. And I know y'all have Bibles, I think y'all read it, read it somewhat, and you won't have to go far in any book that's in it before you start seeing the importance, the necessity, the fact that Abba loves it, and all those who are his do it. They praise the name of Yahuwah, your mighty one, who has done with you so wondrously. And my people shall never be put to shame. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Yasharal, and that I am Yahuwah, your mighty Most High. And there is no one else. There is no one else. I get irritated when I hear things like, our God is an awesome God. What other gods is there? Are we taught? I mean, there's other ones. That's how loose-lipped they are when talking about my Abba, my daddy. Do they talk to their earthly daddies like that? Do they respect them in such a disrespectful way? I bet they don't. But as the years move forward, the respect even for their earthly fathers disappears more and more. You know why? Because that foundation of rock that a man who is wise builds his house upon has been not only removed or encouraged, but mocked and plotted against, removed intentionally with hatred for it. And they've replaced it with a bunch of playground sand. And when the storm comes, a light breeze knocks the mobile home type of wall he has built, where the studs are 1x2s. It was just waiting to hit the ground. And you probably knew it was going to anyway. With no structure, destruction is bound to happen. Torah is that structure. It's the only structure. And after this, it shall be that I pour out my spirit on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men dream dreams, your young men see visions, and also on the male servants and on the female servants I shall pour out my spirit in those days. And I shall give signs in the heavens and upon the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun is turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. Read them and weep. Or read it and be a doer. And if you're afraid to do that, to call on the name of the one who has made you, then who are you? And the fact that you think you're someone that you ain't shows, it reeks of that strong delusion. And that's sad. I pray and I wish no one perishes. But because you're afraid of giving esteem to the Most High, has no effect on how much I'm going to. And it doesn't matter if you don't like it. If I can't do it in your house, I'm not coming to your house. If you come to my house and you don't like it, boy, it's going to be bad for you, but it's going to be sweet for me. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. For on Mount Zion and in Yerushalayim there shall be an escape, as Yahuwah has said, and among the survivors whom Yahuwah calls. For look, in those days and at that time, when I turn back the captivity of Yehuda and Jerusalem, then I shall gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I shall enter into judgment with them there for my people, my inheritance, Yasharallah, whom they have scattered among the nations, and they have divided up my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a young man for a whore, and sold a girl for wine and drank it. And also, what are you to me, O Sor and Sidon, and all the coast of Philistia? Are you repaying me? And if you are repaying me, I would swiftly and speedily return your reward on your own head. For you have taken my silver and my gold, and brought my treasuries into your temples. Yahuwah don't play. And the people of Yehuda and the people of Yerushalayim you have sold to the sons of Yahweh to remove them far from their borders. You see, we're talking about the last days, right? That's what the Most High is talking about. And yet, they are removed far from their borders. See, I am stirring them up out of the place to which you have sold them, and I shall return on your own head what you have done, and shall sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the people of Yehuda, and they shall sell them to the Shabites, to a nation far off. For Yahuwah has spoken. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for battle. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of battle draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Hasten and come, all you nations, and gather together all around. O Yahuwah, let your mighty men come down here. Let the nations be aroused and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there I shall sit to judge all the nations on every side. Put in the sickle, for the harvest has grown ripe. Come, go down, for the winepress is filled. The vats overflow, for their evil is great. Crowds in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision. Sun and moon shall become dark, and stars shall withdraw their brightness. And Yahuwah shall roar from Sion, and give forth his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and earth shall shake, but Yahuwah shall be a refuge for his people, and a stronghold for the children of Yasharal. Then you shall know that I am Yahuwah, your mighty one, dwelling in Sion, my set apart mountain, and Jerusalem shall be set apart, and foreigners shall not pass through her any more again. And it shall be in that day that the mountains drip with new wine, and the hills flow with milk, and all the streams of Yehuda shall be flooded with water, and a fountain flow from the house of Yahuwah, and water the wadi of Shittim. Mitzrayim shall become a ruin, and Edom a ruin, a wilderness, because of violence done to the people of Yehuda, whose innocent blood they shed in their land. But Yehuda shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem to all generations. And I shall avenge their blood which I have not avenged. And Yahuwah shall be dwelling in Zion. Here we go. Have y'all noticed? Did you notice something? A little something something in the book of Joel? Let's see if we hear it in Micah in a few chapters. The word of Yahuwah that came to Micah of Moresheth in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehuda, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear, all you peoples, listen, O earth, and all who are in it, and let the Master Yahuwah be a witness against you. Yahuwah from his set apart Hekal. For look, Yahuwah is coming out of where? His place. You seen him? No. And he shall come down and shall tread on the high places of the earth, and the mountains shall melt under him, and the valleys be cleft as wax before the fire, as waters poured down a steep place. All this is for the transgression of Jacob, and for the sins of the house of Yasharal. What is the transgression of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? And what are the high places of Yehuda? Are they not Jerusalem? And I shall make Shamaran a heap in the field, places for planting a vineyard. And I shall pour down her stones into the valley, and uncover her foundations. And all her carved images shall be beaten in pieces, and all her harlot fees be burned with the fire. And all her idols I shall lay waste. Can't wait for that. For she gathered it from the harlot fee of a hoe, and they shall return to the harlot fee of a hoe. Because of this I lament and howl. I go stripped and naked. I make a lamentation like jackals and a mourning like ostriches. For her wounds are incurable. For it has come to Yehuda. It has come to the gate of my people, to Jerusalem. Do not declare it in Gath. Weep not at all in Beth Aprah. Roll yourself in the dust. Pass by it in nakedness and shame. You, inhabitant of Shaphir. The inhabitant of Sa'anan has not gone out. The lamentation of Beth Etzel takes from you its standing place. Though the inhabitants of Maroth, waiting for good, yet evil come down from Yahuwah to the gate of Jerusalem. O inhabitant of Lachish, harness the chariot to the horse. She was the beginning of sin to the daughter of Sion, for the transgressions of Yasharal were found in you. Therefore you shall give parting gifts to Moresheth Gath, the house of Achzib, becoming a deception to the sovereigns of Yasharal. To who? Who was the deception given to? The sovereigns of Yasharal. All the presidents or the prime ministers of Israel. Again I shall bring a dispossessor to you, O inhabitant of Mari Sha'ah, the esteem of Yasharal shall come to Adullam. Make yourself bald and cut off your hair for the children of your delight. Enlarge your baldness like an eagle. Wink, wink. For they shall be exiled from you. Woe to those plotting wickedness and working out evil upon their beds. In the light of the morning they practice it, because it is in the might of their hand. Like I am doing right here, like I love bragging up my Abba Yahuwah every time his name comes off of my lips, gives me more happiness and satisfaction. But their satisfaction, their excitement is practicing, plotting, and they coveted fields and seized them, also houses, and took them away, and they oppressed a man and his house, a man and his inheritance. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, see, against this clan I am planning evil, from which you do not remove your necks nor walk proudly, for this is a time of evil. I was just thinking this morning how Yasharal is broken down into tribes, and those who claim they are Yahudim but are not, but actually of the synagogue of Satan, they don't go by tribes, do they? And the first word came to my mouth was clan, like the KKK. And look there, confirmation always given to me by my Abba Yahuwah. In that day, one shall lift up a proverb against you, and he shall lament with a bitter lamentation, and shall say, we have been utterly ravaged. He changes the inheritance of my people. How he removes it from me. He apportions our fields to the backslider. Therefore, you shall have no one in the assembly of Yahuwah to divide the land by lot. You do not preach, they preach. They do not preach to these. Reproaches are not turned back. Are you called house of Jacob? Has the spirit of Yahuwah been limited? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to the one walking uprightly? And lately my people have risen up as an enemy. You strip off the robe with the garment from those who trust you, as they pass by those returning from battle. You have driven the women of my people from their pleasant houses. You have taken away my splendor from their children forever. Arise and go, for this is not your rest, because your uncleanness destroys, and the destruction is grievous. If a man walking after wind and falsehood has lied, I preach to you of wine and of strong drink, he shall be the preacher of this people. I shall certainly gather all of you, Jacob. I shall bring together a remnant, the remnant of Yasharal, put them together like sheep of the fold, like a flock in the midst of their pasture, they being noisy because of men. The breach maker shall go up before them. They shall break out and pass through the gate and go out by it, and their sovereign pass before them with Yahuwah at their head. Hallelujah. One more. Then I said, hear now, O heads of Jacob, and you rulers of the house of Yasharal, should you not know right ruling? You who are hating good and loving evil, tearing away the skin from my people and the flesh from their bones, and who have eaten the flesh of my people and stripped off their skin like Buffalo Bill, and have broken their bones and have cut it up as into a pot, like flesh in the cooking pot. The frying pan? No, the cooking pot. Therefore, when they cry to Yahuwah, he does not answer them. They didn't answer him. Why do you feel like he has to answer you when you never answer him, and hides his face from them at that time, as they have made their deeds evil? Thus said Yahuwah concerning the prophets who led my people astray, who are biting with their teeth and have called out, Peace! They even set apart a battle against him who does not give for their mouths. I've been at the aiming end of that battle a couple times. Therefore it shall be night to you without vision, and darkness to you without divination. The sun shall go down on the prophets, and the day shall be dark for them, and the seers shall be ashamed, and the diviners embarrassed, and they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer. Oh, mighty one, the Most High, but truly I am filled with power, with the Spirit of Yahuwah, and with right ruling, and with might, to declare to Jacob his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin. Hear this, please, you heads of the house of Jacob, and you rulers of the house of Yasharal, who despise right ruling, and distort all that is straight. Those building up Sion with bloodshed, and Jerusalem with unrighteousness. Her heads judge for a bribe. Her priests teach for pay. I was just talking about this, wasn't I? And her prophets divine for a price. Yet they lean on Yahuwah and say, Is not Yahuwah in our midst? Evil does not come upon us. Therefore, because of you, Sion is plowed like a field, and Jerusalem becomes heaps, and the mountain of the house like a wooded height. Now, did you notice a little something? I just want to show you this first chapter, our first verse in chapter 4. And in the latter days it shall be that the mountain of the house of Yahuwah is established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and peoples shall flow to it. I've had a few people tell me that scripture can't, don't know the difference between hills and mountains. Right there, it clearly lets you know that it knows. So, check this out. Is this the mountain of Yahuwah? That little thing right there? Or is it this right here? I mean, Abba owns the earth, right? He gets, this is his little rinky dink? No, it can't be. Yeah, this is more like it. That's Mount Olympus. Pacific Northwest. I love y'all, Mishpachah. Man, I hope none of y'all have a problem with zeal on one trilly, because I'm going to bump it up a little bit, if you know what I mean. Shalom, shalom. Peace out. D's out.